Jamal Murray ranking. Now, Riv, you caught a lot of heat on social media for your Jamal Murray ranking and where you ranked him amongst top point guards.
You caught a lot of heat that was incorrect.
I revised my list.
You revised your list. Did it make you
You
revise
moved him
your
up
list?
once. You moved him up one spot.
So how do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to go 10, 10, 10, 10? Or...
I think that would be funner.
Okay,
Funner.
we can do that.
Don't do that.
Why you
Come
doing
on,
that?
bro.
Let's do it.
It's because I'm.
Do you want to start with the players? Do you want to start with the players you left off your top 10 first?
I didn't.
I
write
can't do
anybody
that. I did.
I went down to 15.
15. Austin Reeves is there?
You guys just always do this to me.
Before LaMelo is.
Okay,
He's locked.
honorable mentions: LaMelo, DG, Hallie.
Yeah.
You know the guys.
Drew Holiday, Austin Reeves.
Not an honorable mention. I
Drew
wouldn't put-
Holiday is an honorable mention.
Hard.
Drew Holiday.
No.
He's 14.
No, most definitely.
But he
Austin
wouldn't
Reeves'
get close. He's
generational
not getting in
efficiency
this
in the WCF is an
Austin
honorable
Reeves.
mention.
I don't consider him a point guard till he plays this
But
year as a point guard.
fair enough. I just acknowge that he will be playing.
He wouldn't be an honorable
He
mention.
played a
though.
good amount of point guard in the postseason.
He wouldn't be
for
an
us.
honorable mention.
He's top 15.
I have 15 names here.
And if you want to count Kyrie as a point guard, which I don't, then he's number 16.
I have Kyrie. Yes, I have Kyrie on this list.
My snubs are Kyrie, Garland, Harden, LaMelo, and Drew Holiday.
Mine are
interesting. I wanna
Harden,
hear your top.
Tyrese, Garland, Drew, and LaMelo.
Yeah.
Starting number 10. Who
Here
do
we
you
go.
got at 10, Riv?
Wait, bro, you said that James Harden wasn't in your top 10.
He revised it.
I revised it. No, he's out.
So he's honorable mention.
My 10 would be Kyrie Irving.
My 10 is also Kyrie Irving.
My 10 is Trae Young. What's so funny?
The other day you had Tyrese at 10. And
No, I didn't. I had Tyrese over Trae.
Yo, that was not
Bro.
the first thing. Like, I'm
Bro.
laughing because it shocked me. That wasn't the name I thought you would say first.
No.
Trae at 10?
Here's the shit that is it's bothering my stomach. My stomach hurts. You said he was the best point guard in the game last year. He went from 1
That was the middle of the year,
to 10.
too. You said that like January, February.
He went from 1 to 10.
he was pretty damn good in the playoffs.
He played.
It was really fun.
No, and he was very good in,
last
in
year,
March.
this year
he was also
Yeah,
very
this year,
good in
that's about last year.
February.
Anomaly.
Well, last year, Trae in the regular season
He was
had the
better.
most points and assists of any point guard in the
He
NBA.
flopped.
But then he put up 26
No,
and 10
he
this
started-
year. Went
he
from
start-
28 and 9.
This
he
is the
finished.
difference.
He was poor.
He
It
finished
was.
good.
He started
Finished
poor.
good, yeah.
This is the
finished
difference.
very well.
This is the difference.
Here we go.
Trae Young,
10.
after that regular season in the playoffs, was not good. He was great in the playing game. He was not good in the playoffs
Last year?
versus Miami.
He had a game winner
Oh,
in
yes,
that
yes,
series,
yes.
though.
But
No, he wasn't
was
good. He wasn't
shitty.
good.
He
You're right.
wasn't
He
good.
was
He had a
good in
game
Miami.
winner.
And this entire season has been drama-filled.
Yes.
His defensive weaknesses have been exploited
been there.
even more. His
Always
coach,
been bad.
his coach got fired. A big reason was because of their
Played better
inability
with Quinn Snyder, though.
to
What's
get
this have to
along.
do with him
Quinn
and his
Snyder is an
game?
offensive head coach. I take all that into account, and I take into account Trae Young. Every player that I have above Trae Young on this list,
Yes.
there's a reasonable and logical expation
I
for
can't
wait
why
to
to
they're
hear it.
over Trae Young.
Can't
And
wait
if
to
I
hear
You
can,
put Jalen Brunson.
Oh, no, Brunson is without a
over
doubt.
Trae I'm going to leave the
Bro,
live.
And James
Day one,
Harden.
was better
And
this
James
season
Harden.
without.
Wait, James Harden is 10?
Yes.
James Harden is not in my top 10.
Riv, this is day one of the offseason.
Day
Day
one.
one.
We're
Day
here.
one of
I
the
literally
offseason.
didn't. I just tweeted. Get ready. It's the start of the
No,
worst
I'm
takes you'll
just-
hear all year.
I'm just curious. Since when
Oh,
is
God, this is
changing?
not going to help your case.
No,
no,
you
no.
went from 1 to 10. That's
Oh,
where
no,
you're
I'm
losing.
not
You
gonna
don't even,
bring
you
that
don't
up.
even
I'm
know
not
what
gonna bring that
you
up.
don't even know what I'm gonna say. Drew,
Changing what?
going from 1 to 10 is not crazy, given the fact that
You have to fall off pretty
given the
bad.
fact that Dame was healthy this year.
Which we knew.
You said he was better than Steph.
Okay, so that
bro.
drops him to 2.
He had a better regular season than Steph. That's a fact.
You would have had
He did.
Dame over Trae last year? You had Trae at 1.
No, Trey was over Dame last year because Dame did not play last
He had the
year.
abdominal injury.
So
huh?
Dame is back. De'Aaron Fox had a career year. SGA had an All-NBA season. John Morant was still one of the top players at his position.
Who had a better playoffs, Trey or Ja this year?
I'll say Trey.
So why is Ja ahead of Trey? Are you valuing regular
Ja's a
season?
better player.
And Ja's about to get probably get a hefty fine. Hefty.
we're talking about
suspension
Trae.
For
If
sure,
he's
if we're
off the
talking
court,
about,
we're
if we're
talking
talking about
about
political
Jazz.
reasons, then of
Oh
course.
no, we're
that's
gonna disregard.
sorry.
I thought we were
players.
disregarding that period, but he's
So-
bringing
But
up
I'm
all
just
these
saying,
trades.
That's why. That's why
let's-
exactly.
Let's
what
not
I'm
act
saying.
like from year to year you can't go from one extreme to the other.
No,
Last
1 to
year you
10.
did not call
Well, he
Jimmy
should
Butler
never
an
been-
all-time
he
great
should never
playoff
been one
performer,
to start
and now
with,
this
but-
year he was one.
Well,
so you can go
facts.
from one extreme to another in
No,
a year.
but
I think
1
you
to
can
10
go
is
from
crazy.
6 to 7 to 10. You had him
Yo,
at 1.
Yeah,
So
1
not
to 10.
when the point guard
You named
position.
like 4 names.
Trae
though.
Young.
Not when the point guard position
Oh
in the
my
NBA is
God.
arguably the most stacked it's ever been.
But you just
The
think-
rankings will vary year to year.
All right, Drew, who's your 10?
My 10 is James Harden. I have him number 10.
I have Harden 11.
I had Kyrie at 10. You had Kyrie at 10.
Yeah.
You have Trae Young, and you have
James Harden.
James Harden. All right,
That's respectable.
It's gonna get
Where'd
fun.
you have Harden?
It's gonna get fun as fuck.
11, 12. Do you have
He's
a
in that
number?
area.
Okay.
He's not in my top 10.
It's gonna get fun.
You named your 10.
Yes.
I said yeah, Kyrie.
My 9 is Tyrese Haliburton. That's my number 9.
I'm done. I can't. I'm done. No,
How is Tyrese better than Trae?
I can't.
The case for Tyrese, and I think he's the most underrated point guard in the league right now.
He's nice
I
for
don't-
sure.
And he's going to have the Pacers are going to make the playoffs next year. That's one. And he's going to be the biggest reason for that. I look at Tyrese. I look at Tyrese, 21 points
Is
per
John
game.
allowed to talk? He was a Trae Young hater a couple weeks
He
ago.
cannot talk. He was just saying he'd take Garland over Trae Young. I don't know why he's walking out.
John,
Darius
John,
Garland
you're
is-
cooked.
Darius Garland's
John.
not even a top 10 point guard in the
Why?
league right now. He's not.
Wait, you didn't. This is my only
Yeah.
problem.
Do you?
You didn't. I don't think that we had a conversation. You didn't have Hallie over Garden during the season, and there's nothing that Haliburton did after the regular season to warrant him being better than Garland.
I went back the same way you went back and watched the Brandon Ingram film. I went back and watched Tyrese film.
I didn't went
And
back
you
and watch
changed your-
Brandon.
you
I just
changed your
watched
mind on
Brandon Ingram through the season.
You changed you was slandering Brandon Ingram throughout the season, and
That
all of
doesn't
a sudden
help your
you said he's
case,
better than
bro.
Jaylen
Just because
Brown.
you bring up something else does not help your case.
Listen, but Riv, you do that sometimes too.
I didn't go back and watch him. I just watched Brandon Ingram in the
But
last
that's the
35
thing.
games.
Back to Tyrese because we're taking away credit from him right now.
I mean, he shouldn't be top 10.
No, he should. No,
He is-
if
he
you
should
want
be
it,
top
all right,
10.
listen, I
Shouldn't be
don't
top 10.
He should
disagree.
be top
I don't
10.
disagree.
Shouldn't be top
It's
10.
just
He's fringe, but you can't say that he's top 10 and have him over Trae Young. That's where you lose me.
Tyrese averages 21 and 10 a game.
Trae Young
The
in his
reason-
worst year was
27 and
26.
This is the case for
Have you actually
Tyrese.
seen Tyrese's assist? Like his 10 assists?
This is the case for Tyrese over Trae Young. And
There
if
we
you
go.
guys let me speak, I can make the case instead of just being shocked at every single statement.
You're shocking us. What do you want us to do?
Trae Young averages more points than Tyrese because his usage percentage is so much more. Trae Young, in every season in the last 4 years, his usage percentage is 30 plus. Tyrese's usage percentage right now is 23.8. He doesn't have a high usage percentage, yet he averages a double-double. He has a 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Trae Young is half of that. He turns the ball over at double the rate Tyrese does.
Well, you just mentioned it. He has the ball in his hands more.
And when we talk about efficiency, Tyrese is a 50, 40, 90 type of guy. 49% from the field, 40% from three, 87% from the free throw line. This Pacers team this past season that we saw, we were projecting them to get a top 3 pick in the NBA draft.
They were close.
Because Tyrese got injured. But when Tyrese was healthy, they were definitely one of the surprises and shocks of the NBA
Majority.
because they were so competitive. And they finished with the 28 and 28 record. So I look at Tyrese. He's more efficient than Trae Young. He takes care of the ball more than Trae Young. He's a better facilitator than Trae Young, and he has better ball security as well, and he's 6'5" compared to Trae Young 6'1", which means that
Heightest.
defensively he's not going to get bullied. Trae Young is a bottom 3 defender in the NBA. Tyrese is not that. And
Tyrese isn't that good of a defender, though.
he's not, but he's not a liability. He's
And
not a
Tyrese
bottom 3
averaged-
defender.
Crazy.
Tyrese
So
averaged.
crazy.
Hold on,
Last
Tyrese.
year, his efficiency was unbelievable.
Tyrese averaged 3
39%.
turnovers. Trae Young averaged 4.
He averaged 2.5 turnovers per game.
3 turnovers.
Yeah, Tyrese averaged 10.4 assists. If you do the math, that's a 4-to-1
No, I'm
turnover
with you.
assist
I'm with
turnover
the assist to ratio turnover. I understand that, but they averaged damn near the same amount of turnovers, and Trae Young has the ball a lot more than
The
Tyrese
same
Haliburton.
amount of turnovers. How many did Trae Young
2.5.
average?
Trae Young averaged 4.1.
3.5 to 4 is kind of.
What do you mean? That's double. He
It's
averaged
it's
double.
one and-
double.
it's not one and a half.
It's
Not
not
double.
double. It's because
One
I'm
and a half.
rounding it.
One and a
2.5
half.
is essentially 3.
I'm not
No, it's
disagreeing.
not.
In the laws of rounding, he's right.
And the
In
laws,
the laws of rounding, he's
2.5
right.
is
However,
not
but
essentially 3.
turnovers and those kind of numbers, it's hard, especially
we're-
when it's
we're
2.5 is dead middle. It
I
can be
agree.
2
I
or
agree.
3.
No,
No,
it can't.
no,
If you
no.
understood
Law of
rounding,
law of
that's wrong.
rounding, it's straight.
But
Just saying.
we're comparing
However, I'm with you.
turnovers with Trae Young, and
Yeah.
you just admitted
Yeah.
he had the
He's-
ball
he has
far
significant
more than
responsibility.
Haliburton, bro.
But that's the point. Him having the ball far more than Haliburton, that's how Trae Young is able to be effective. He has to have a high usage. Tyrese can be my lead guard and not dominate the ball, which will make everybody around him better. And that's why I favor Tyrese.
Who's your number 9, bud?
It was Jalen Brunson.
I also have Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson 9. I also have Jalen Brunson at 9.
Okay. Haliburton was 12
He
for
would
me.
be in my like 11 14-ish
12,
range.
Haliburton was 12 for me.
Number 8, I have Jalen Brunson.
Thank you for these numbers, John. You want me to read them out loud? You want me to just hide them?
What are the
I'm gonna
numbers?
Just read
them out loud. So the John said the case for Haliburton winning a better off-ball player is quicker and more selfless decision maker. Trae Young's turnover percentage is just 15%. Haliburton's was 13% in 2023.
Okay.
Marginal
is right.
Number 8. Sorry, did you say yours already?
Number 8 is Jalen
Jalen
Brunson.
Brunson.
Okay. I have Jamal Murray at 8.
I also have Jamal. That's where Jamal falls.
I have De'Aaron Fox at 8.
Okay.
I have De'Aaron Fox because I just think that the three-point shot of Jamal Murray is better than Fox's, and that's the difference for me. And I think that Jamal Murray is a slightly better passer.
Oh, okay.
And he's better at the free throw line. That is something that we don't talk about De'Aaron Fox. He really is not that good of a free throw shooter.
Much,
Yeah.
to be fair.
You're not wrong, and he does need love.
Yeah, he
Come-
does.
From you specifically.
Yeah, we don't talk about it much. We only talk about them maybe like 2-3 times.
Well, that's not true. We spoke about the Kings a lot this season.
Yeah, to a degree. We don't talk about his
But
free
no,
throws.
his free throw
yeah.
shooting really is not as good as it should be for a point guard.
His career
For a guard in
74%,
general.
73%.
Number 8, I had Jalen Brunson. It's obvious what he did. Knicks had a top 3 offensive rating off of ISO, and that's mostly because of him. He upped his game in the playoffs.
Did you agree with my hot take
That what?
that Jalen Brunson was the top 2 performer at the point guard position this postseason?
I think that's valid.
Okay.
I think that's valid.
Do you agree with whom I have 1, though?
Steph
Curry.
Yeah.
All right.
I think Steph.
I think
Curry and Brunson.
between him and Jamal, though, it was very close. Obviously, Jamal ended up winning a championship, but I just think of who had to carry more of a load, especially when that wasn't expected. We were expecting Julius Randle to be better.
It's a question.
It wasn't.
I'm going to be a little bit more respectful to you in your list. So I apologize for I'm gonna ask this question.
I can apologize too. I'm sorry, Jamal. The vibes are low.
You don't warn us when you do these
because
things.
I gave y'all a legit
No,
argument.
you did, but you
You just
Ribs
don't
right
warn
here.
us. You don't
Ribs
warn
right
us
here.
when you do
You
these
caught
things.
us off guard, and
Yeah,
I do
trade 10
apologize
was
to you.
crazy.
We're not
Does
trying to question your
Jalen
intelligence,
Brunson
bro.
not
You made
have the
some good
same
points.
deficiencies on the defensive end and the height wise as Trae Young? Do you
Nah,
not
Jalen
put that
Brunson's
in
a better
fact?
defender.
He is a better defender.
No, but I'm saying does he not have the
Height-wise
height
facts.
deficiencies and he needs the ball because he as a
tries
playmaking Trae I think clears Jalen
For
Brunson
sure.
as a playmaker.
For
and
sure.
Jalen Brunson's a lot of ISO heavy. So does he not have the same deficiencies as Trae Young?
They're similar. I think that the case for Trae Young right now being so high in point guard lists comes down to one thing. It's the consistency of what he's been doing. I can't overlook the consistency, but when I look at who's been better this season, I think Jalen Brunson had easily a better season than Trae Young. He shot 42% from 3, and you look at how Jalen Brunson can generate his baskets. He's a better finisher than Trae Young. He's better in the mid-range. He has way better footwork. He can play from the post as a 6'1 guard. He has all those things over Trae Young. He can shoot better than Trae Young because Trae Young has been knocked as has been penciled in as a shooter when
takes
every
horrible
year
shots.
he's up and down, up and down, up and down.
Takes very
To
bad
be fair,
shots.
last year he was great as a three-point shooter. This
was.
year he started off poorly. However, ended the season, I believe in February it was 40%. In March it was 38%, 37%. April he shot it poorly, but it was only 3 games. And in the postseason, I believe that he shot it well again.
He did, and that's the thing. Trae Young's game to me is up and down. It is very
He finished
up
the
and down.
season consistent.
He finished the season
Very good.
amazing,
Yeah, thank
for
you.
sure. But I look at his past tenures with the coaches that have gone out. I'm not a big fan of Lloyd Pierce. I thought that was the right decision. But we're talking about Nate McMillan, a coach who he went to the conference finals with the Hawks.
Correct.
And then the relationship just got wacky. So I'm looking at Trae Young now. A coach has gotten fired, and it's because they couldn't get along. So for me, it feels like he's somebody that's hard to coach. When DeJounte Murray went to Atlanta, we were expecting Trae Young to play off the ball more. Trae Young played off the ball more for the first 2 months of the season. After that, he went back to being ball dominant. So I'm looking at Trae Young, and I'm saying, well, he's only shown me he can play in one way and be successful. Brunson has already shown me he can do it in multiple different roles. And as a lead guy, Jalen Brunson, he rose up to the moment. Last year when he was the lead guy for Dallas, he did it. But doing it for the Knicks this year with a team that you have the most pressure. I mean, we're seeing Julius Randle's posters getting flamed up. I mean, you don't perform in New York, it's rough. Jalen Brunson rose up to that challenge. He averaged 31
amazing.
against arguably the best defense in the playoffs in Miami. I give respect to the Lakers because they were amazing too.
Thank you.
But you averaged 31 when nobody else on the Knicks showed up. The same team that Trae Young went up against last year and could not do anything. And Brunson and him were in similar situations if they were both getting trapped. So I think Brunson had a better year. And if I'm going forward, I like Brunson leading my team more than I do Trae Young.
See, because you said going forward, and that's where I hear you out. But I feel like when we do these lists, it needs to be a combination of what have you done for me lately, and then what have you done. I like to combine the two, which is why I have SGA high on my list. I do, and that is predicated off of what he did this year. However, he was so damn good this year that's why he weighs heavier. I hear what you're saying about Tyrese. Jalen Brunson has a better argument for Tyrese, in my opinion, over Trae Young. However,
playoffs, for sure.
Correct. But again, what have you done for me, and what have you done for me lately? Trae Young finished the season great against the Celtics, who
he was really good.
Hindsight, it allows us to see through the Boston Celtics. I don't mean that any slight, bro.
That's valid.
He played very well against, for at the time, a great defense. We saw it kind of not be as great as what it was supposed to be, but at the moment where we were expecting Boston Celtics to essentially scrape the floor with them, Trae Young stepped up to the plate.
I think these lists are both what you've done and projection based.
Agreed.
I don't know if it's different from how we do it from the NBA to the NFL.
I don't project.
And we know.
I think that like the projection is probably like the third option on the list for me.
I agree with that though.
Because
Brunson was great in the playoffs, but so was Trae. Brunson made it to the second round, so I think that's why you're giving him credit. But Trae Young was phenomenal against the Celtics.
When we did our receivers list for the NFL, I believe none of us had Cooper Kupp number one. No. We all had somebody else number one.
And we had Jet.
It was either Jamar Chase.
Okay.
You had Jamar Chase. We had Justin Jefferson. Yeah. That's off what you've done, but also what I think you're going to do. So in these lists, it's what you've done, but this is my list. I'm not going. This is my list.
That's fine.
And all these point guards that I'm naming are players I'm taking over Trae Young because they have a case that they had a better season than him, and I also think they're better for the future, and that's who I want leading my team.
I don't think Tyrese has the case
than Trae Young.
This is the case for Tyrese, and I'm gonna do it right now.
We did hear it already.
It's more than that though, because
but the thing is, your case, and I understand your case, but your case is faltering one part, which is very important.
So,
the only person. Only two people on this list, three, is going to have a case where they didn't have to play in the playoffs because they were so damn elite in the regular season. Tyrese wasn't that. So you like the non-playoff thing over Trae Young is odd because he was better.
SGA has not played in the playoffs yet.
That's one of my
as a superstar guy.
That's one of the three people who SGA, Luka, and Dame are going to be like, okay, but they were so elite in the regular season. You understand?
That's the thing, though. SGA, I understand why he gets the higher ranking because I have him ranked high as well. I look at what Tyrese did, and there's nothing in his game that I see cannot translate to the postseason. I think all of that can translate.
I don't disagree.
So for me, I don't view that as, well, I think he's going to struggle when he gets there. I think Tyrese is going to shine when he gets there.
So is this a projection list?
This is a both. This is who I'm taking as my point guard list. These are the best point guards in my opinion list. That's what this list is. So I look at Trae Young.
He was 9.
Trae Young this past season he had an EFG of 48.5%.
It was his lowest.
Tyrese Haliburton had an EFG of 58.6%. That's 10% higher. The offensive rating for Trae Young was 115.9. The offensive rating for Tyrese was 116.9. And I can argue the supporting cast for Indiana is much worse than Atlanta.